If I won the lottery, I would probably still Uber drive. I know, don't don't get mad at me here. But I like it that much. Let me take a step back here. One of the things that I do, especially with like my younger passengers, which a lot of them are compared to me, it looks like, but I ask them, you know, if they won the lottery, $1 billion, what would they do? And the idea is to kind of not talk about gloomy, upstate New York or, Syracuse, New York and how it's run down or anything like that. Because I think if you were a young person, here in the city of Syracuse, it's kind of depressing. And I understand that, especially from like a broken or low income home, and you're taking an Uber to go work at, McDonald's. It's not. It can be really frustrating, and you can see the whole world. You go on your phone and you see people, in Paris or Los Angeles, and they're doing fun things and billionaires on boats and all this kind of stuff. And you want to dream big. And that's what, for me, that's what's really fun to talk with passengers about. It's not just hear, their problems or their day to day or something like that, but talk about big and important things, and not necessarily important things like to the world, but what's important to you and to me. And it's inspirational. It's fun to talk with them about it. And I'll tell you a funny story is that a lot of the times I ask them, hey, if you win the lottery, what would you do? And you can, I think sometimes people don't process $1 billion really well. They'll say something like, they'll be like, well, I'd probably save some money. I'd invest it. They'll say, I'll start a nonprofit. I'll definitely buy a nice car. And I'm thinking like, okay, you spent 1 million of the billion. You still have a long way to go. And the concept when you ask that question is again just to get people to talk big, dream big, with these college graduates right now. So it's graduation season, or high school graduates. If you take high school graduates, I know there's Uber Teen and stuff like that. What's next? What are you gonna do? And you kind of get a sense from a lot of them that they're just going into the next phase. They're just doing the next thing. There's nothing inspirational about it. They've struggled to get into college. They've worked their butt off to work really hard, and now they're graduating from college. They got all this debt, and the next thing they're gonna do is get a job. you know, where? Oh, I'm going to go work in New York City or whatever. And there's some excitement that they've graduated, but there's nothing like aspirational. It's like, I just need to make money to pay for the debt that I have and the things that I want. And so when you talk about $1 billion, the idea is to go, okay, but let's take money off the table. Now you have infinite money. $1 billion is infinite money for the most part. Okay, now that you've got $1 billion, what are you going to do? And there's the rise of artificial intelligence coming, right? So human jobs, it's kind of like in flux. Nobody knows what humans are going to do in the future. And, and and sometimes people talk about kind of some fun things, like maybe I'll be a musician or an artist or stuff like that. And and I started to ask myself, well, what if I had $1 billion? A little inside secret: my wife, I love her. One of the things I do to show her that I love her is I buy her a lottery ticket. I go to get the car wash. In fact, I just got out of the car wash and I bought a lottery ticket, but I never really think about winning. In fact, I don't know if she's won anything with the lottery, but and now the tickets are like $5. Whatever. I just buy her a lottery ticket and I tell her, hey, I hope we win this time. And she tells me that I'll know that we win when I go home and she's not there. So we've been married happily for 27 years. It's really just an inside joke. But okay. But if I won the lottery, what would I do? And there's things that I would buy. Private jet would be definitely a thing that I would want. I would want to be able to fly anywhere. But what would I do with my time? Would I try to turn my life into this thing of leisure? check out of the world, just go to fancy restaurants, fly around the world, and play a lot of golf. Ooh, another reservation. Yes, 100% taking that trip. But I don't think that's I don't think that's what humans are made to do. I don't think we're made to check out of life. We hear about the stories of people that retire, and as soon as they retire, they just basically shrivel up and die. But I don't want to do hard physical manual labor for the rest of my life. I don't want to, struggle. So I've got $1 billion. What would I do with my time? I would definitely write, tell more stories because I loved that. But the inspiration of my stories comes with the people that sit right here in this seat. I'm up there in the front seat and they're back here in the back. And the people that I meet every single trip. Because they're other humans inspire me. And I love to be around them. And it's hard to have meaningful, real conversations, especially with strangers, in most of our life. If you think about like how rare it is to be in a space like intimate, like here in our cars. It's quiet. You've got 5, 10, 20 minutes with a passenger. And most of the time, we sit in peace and quiet, or we just say, how about the weather, or stuff like that. But every now and then we get that moment, that special little thing where we really connect. I just had a passenger. I just took her to the airport. Older woman. She's in her 80s. Her husband died, 3 years ago. And she's kind of regretting that they didn't travel earlier. They kept putting things off. And she says, now I want to travel. I want to go see my grandkids. Time is fleeting. And so if you win the lottery and you have $1 billion, what are you going to do with it? For me, I want to continue to work and be productive. And I want to write stories and I want to meet more people. And Uber driving provides that. It's an amazing, amazing thing. And it's not just the people that I meet. I mean, that's the most special part to it. I really enjoy being out and about in my city and just kind of getting a sense of boots on the ground, what's really happening. A week or two ago, there was like a shooting, two cars, and it happened like literally like a minute before I got to that intersection because all the ambulances were arriving and I thought it was a wreck, but I looked on the news and it was a shooting, but I was there. And I was not saying I want to be at shootings in my city or something like that, but it's like I'm part of the city when I'm out and about and I'm driving around and I'm meeting people of all different types and races and religions and backgrounds and languages and cultures, and they're all going interesting places, or they're just going to work, or I'm picking them up from something that's really important, whatever it is. I just think that's humanity. And I'm rambling a little bit, but I just want to express how important it is what you and I do. As robo taxis and Waymos and everything come on board, and humans get further and further apart, we get further disconnected from each other. There's going to be less opportunities for us to casually run into each other in a place like this in our Ubers. It's really special. It really is. It's unique. There's very few places like this. Some people say it's kind of like being a bartender, but the reason why it's not like a bartender is bartenders sit face to face and the bartender tends to serve other people. When we are in our Uber, the passenger's looking at us, but I can't see the passenger behind me. So the conversation is different. If I use hand gestures, they can see my nonverbals, but I have to wait for the person to stop talking before I can talk and respond. It's intimate because, again, we're just in this enclosed environment. It's special and unique, and it's going to be going away. Maybe not in the near future, but near future, it's going to happen. So yeah, if I won the lottery, I'd buy a private jet. I'd definitely do like a 1-year adventure where I go see all the major sporting events, some sort of like the Masters and the U.S. Tennis Open, and I'd want to go see Wimbledon and some sort of F1 race in Azerbaijan. Just go around the world and see a bunch of things. I'd like to go to a cricket match. I don't know. Have you ever been to a cricket match? I would do it in India for sure. But yeah, but after I spent some money and did some things, and I want to get back into the regular routine of life, again, another reservation. They don't stop. I get so many. But as we get back into the routine of life, We spent all the money, whatever. We bought the nice house. We've done those things. Um, yeah. What would you do? I would just occasionally turn the Uber app on, get out, take a couple of rides, meet people, get inspiration for more stories, more characters, more human interactions, and then I'd write. Yeah, that's what I would do. So yeah, tell me what you would do if you win the lottery. Oh, and in fact, tell me something fun. It's another reservation. There's just so many of them. Hold on 1 second here. Let me see this reservation. Yes, I'm taking you. Okay, so that was at 5 reservations coming through in just the span of 10 minutes. It's nonstop. Tell me what you would do. Let me leave you with one final thought, too, by the way. If I won the lottery and I was an Uber driver, what car would I drive? I would definitely drive, if I could, like some sort of like a Tesla that's souped up, like a minivan version of a Tesla with really soft suspension, so I could do like Uber XL. I don't. We don't have Uber Black or Premier in Syracuse. Like Uber Comfort is our peak. Well, thank you so much for listening. I wanted to create Tip You in the App and the Daily Drive as a way for you and I to connect because I believe that, yeah, Uber sucks as a company and it sucks what they're paying us, and I get all that. But I wanted a place where people, like minded people that like what we do, where we can talk about ways to stay healthy and safe and make as much money as we can, but ultimately enjoy what we do because I enjoy it, and I hope you enjoy it. So that's what Tip You in the App is all about. I want you to thrive. So please, for 2025, drive your way. Doesn't mean you should ignore other drivers. There's a lot of really smart drivers out there with tips and tricks that you should pay attention to. But don't feel like you have to drive the way that people want you to drive. Do the things that you want to do. Pretend you've won the $1 billion and go live your life. I wish you the very best. Be well. I'm cheering for you. Bye.